Welcome in, everyone. I'm Renee, the visionary here at the Phoenix Uprising. The universe engages with each of us in a multitude of ways, and it's no coincidence that this particular reading has crossed your path at this pivotal point in your journey. Throughout this video, you will see intuitively selected images that I've chosen meant to reflect the current energy and help you tap into your own intuition. This is a general collective reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest for others. Please note that I am not a medical professional, and these readings are meant solely for your enjoyment. I'm going to start the reading by clearing the space of any residual energy. You will hear a series of 3 chimes starting now. Next, I'm going to light my candle of intention, and if you have a candle close by, you can go ahead and light yours and set your focus for the reading. If you have any specific questions for Source, I encourage you to ask those questions now. Let's begin. Seeing a sea crate and also a cobra. Those two are quite different. The sea crate moves easily in water, but also on land. They're nocturnal hunters. They work together with other animals on the reef to flush prey out of the hides and crevices in the coral. And although they have very potent venom, they rarely attack humans and are considered docile species. What do we know about cobras? Well, they can stand tall and bring 1/3 of their body off the ground. That could be saying something because they can grow up to 18 feet long. So they try to be intimidating, right? They spread their hoods, and some of them actually spit venom into the eyes of their prey. They can cause blindness, although I think it's usually temporary. They're very vocal. They growl and rumble and hiss, and very intimidating snake. Whereas the sea crate is more curious, perhaps. The venom is actually more potent than the cobra. They're very different. They're very contrasting. I'm hearing false friend and waiting game. I feel like there's a person in your energy that has already shown you more than once that they are not your friend. I feel like you have been making excuses not only to others, but also yourself regarding this person. You don't want to see the worst in them. Maybe you've known them for quite some time, and you have a sense of loyalty to this person, even though they've shown you who they really are. I feel like maybe you're having a little bit of a hard time coming to terms with the fact that they're not for you. You know what I mean? I don't know if this stems from jealousy, but that's sort of what I'm getting. And maybe this person has just had like a 180 flip on their personality. And I think you either having a glow up of some kind, or they can see that you're moving forward in some way. And I guess it scares them, or they're jealous of that. Like their energy has really flipped. If they felt this jealousy in the past towards you, it wasn't as apparent as it is now. It's getting to the point where even you can't ignore it, right? Waiting game. Well, patience is a virtue. I often say on this channel that as we're waiting on the universe or source to do something for us, really what we should be doing is trying to become our best version in order to step into the new part of our journey seamlessly. A lot of times we're waiting on the universe, and the universe is actually waiting on us, right? Okay, I'm seeing the 4 of Swords, King of Pentacles, the World, 9 of Swords, Justice, Death, and the Hierophant. The 4 of Swords talks about needing a break, or there needs to be a period of preparation for the new phase of life. Right, exactly. Processing thoughts, emotions. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed. I feel like this is a time for meditation and reflection with the Four of Swords. The King of Pentacles is, well, financial security, slow and steady earth energy, stability, living a comfortable, grounded, realistic, and practical life. It's dependable energy and material gain. Nine of Swords, well, that's worry, negative thought cycles, consequences of past actions, suppressed fears, insomnia, need for self-reflection, perhaps, the world, completion of one phase and starting another, sharing learned lessons with others, accomplishments and travel, a feeling of fulfillment, achievement, wholeness, sense of belonging. The world is beautiful energy. Justice, well, strong Libra energy. Balance, of course, comes to mind. Balance is fundamental in building a life of leisure and joy. It's knowing when to put in the work and when to rest, when to take action or when to wait, right, with the waiting game. In relationships, it's working to build or knowing when to walk away. The Hierophant, you're either seeking or providing guidance or both. Maybe you're reestablishing your belief systems or your practices. The Hierophant speaks on the importance of spiritual practices, gaining spiritual knowledge. Maybe you're going through a phase where your spiritual beliefs are changing. Death talks about transformation and endings, rebirth and renewal, letting go of unhealthy patterns and attachments, and a need for change. I'm hearing stay present and your soul knows. I feel like you need to try and get out of your head. Being super focused on the past only opens opportunity to be regretful, and being overly concerned with the future opens us to worry. And worry doesn't usually have a lot of bearing on the outcome. It just adds stress to us. Enjoy the present. Do not forgo present moments by overthinking about the past and the future. That's one reason that children are happier. They are very present in the moment. What activities could you do that would put a smile on your inner child's face? We need to be doing more of that. I'm seeing ginger and nettle. Well, ginger improves insulin sensitivity. It helps regulate cardiovascular processes. It can reduce menstrual cramps, improve cognitive function, aids in digestion. Nettle reduces pain and swelling. It's rich in flavonoids and polyphenols. It's a natural antihistamine, a natural diuretic. It helps regulate blood sugar levels, promotes bone health. It contains vitamin K. It also promotes healthy digestion. I feel like you're implementing a new body movement routine of some sort. It could be Tai Chi, it could be yoga, it could be Pilates. I feel like it's very gentle movement, something that you can be consistent with. It doesn't have to be difficult to be useful and provide results. Consistency is the key. It won't help you if you start to overzealous. You may start with these gigantic goals and then midstream you feel like you're just overwhelmed, right? It's just another thing to be stressed out about if you don't get it done, or you feel like you're falling behind in some way, or you're not seeing progress fast enough, right? Start small and build on that. Choose something that you can do consistently. What you do consistently is what you will see the results from, right? If we go to McDonald's consistently, right, we're going to see pounds packed on. If you can do something consistently 80% of the time, that's pretty good, okay? If you mess up a little bit, or, it's not the end of the world, just pick the consistency back up. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater like, okay, I messed up today. The sky is falling, so we have to quit and it's over and I'm a failure and that's just another thing that I didn't accomplish. No. I understand that completely, but we're not doing that, okay? We're not doing that anymore. We're going to pick something small that we know that we can accomplish. For me, It's been the shaker plate. I've talked about this before. I'm not sponsored. I don't care if you get one or not. But what I'm saying is, I found something that I can be consistent with. It certainly helped with stability and flexibility in my joints. That alone is enough for me. I can tell a difference with the lymphatic drainage too, because puffiness in my face and chin has decreased dramatically. I've been consistent with that. And I've been meal prepping consistently too. So meal prep for me helped with not wanting to run out and get fast food just because it was convenient. I've found for me that rather than doing the individual meal preps in individual containers, I prep more like restaurant style, right? I get all the proteins prepped and all the vegetables I'm going to need prepped and, put into containers. And that seems to work a little bit better for me. That's two things that I've been consistent with, and I'm starting to see the results from that. But you have to think, it takes time to get out of shape, so it's also going to take time to get in shape. Okay, I feel like I went off on a tangent there, but that was for somebody. Somebody needed to hear that. So, false friend. You have a lot of love for this person. They've been in your life for quite some time. It's hard to let go of people that we've known for a very long time. But you're starting to feel the energy shift and difference between the two of you. I feel like you're trying to really upgrade your life. I don't feel like you think you're better than them. I don't get that feeling at all. It's just that your energy is not matching anymore. And they're starting to feel some type of way about you and the progress that you're making. And it's sad, right? It's sad, but we can't take everyone from our past into the future. The main takeaways, I think, are just continue to work on yourself with consistency. Implement small things, and when you get really good at those small things, then add something else, right? Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to make a giant step be your first step, okay? I'm also hearing first meal in your own home. You want stability and growth, and I feel like you're going to receive it. I literally just see somebody sitting and being reflective and appreciative and filled to the brim with gratitude about sitting in their own home, a little tiny home that you paid for. It's yours. Nobody can take that away from you. It's like a sanctuary for you, right? You've built this, or you will build this into a truly beautiful space that reflects how you feel on the inside. It will show in this place. There may be flower gardens and, moon gates with paths that go to little hidden seating areas. You have some chickens and you have maybe a couple baby goats, or, you have a little farm stand out front, making your own sourdough bread, right? You're really embodying this King of Pentacles. It's taken you a while to get here. And some of you with the waiting game still feel like you're waiting to see the results. And trust me when I tell you what I saw, that vision of you in your little house, in your little space, eating your own food, with your cat or your dog or maybe a significant other, but for the majority of you, it doesn't feel like that. Just a beautiful little space that you have created all on your own, maybe for the first time ever. You're sitting, enjoying your coffee, looking out your French doors open to this little deck with the barbecue, and wow, it's such a clear vision. That's crazy. Trellises with vines, and bees and birds and flowers. Beautiful. A true sanctuary. Water features, and you know what I'm saying? Like, whew, that's some beautiful, beautiful energy and space that you're going to be in. Wow. Justice, right? That not only talks about balance, but I feel like it's also you receiving justice. Perhaps you've had a rough life. I feel like the checks and balances are aligned, right? You're being rewarded for this hard work that you've done. You're stepping into the best version of yourself. This little place, it's not anything super fancy, because that's not really what your goals are anymore. There was a time when you cared about wealth, and more wealth, but that's not the era that you're in. I feel like what really matters is freedom, peace, joy, and stability. And you're going to have all those things. A time frame for this, well, October, fall, end of September, October, right? Beautiful energy. When the world talks about completion, you are completing a cycle in your life where you had others to take care of. You may have some periods of worry or overthinking. We all have that, okay? But you're still moving forward. That's what matters. Take small steps if you need to, because small steps forward are still forward movement. Do things that you can do consistently. That's how you build stability, right? You don't want things to be a flash in the pan. It worked for the first 30 days, but you were so burned out with it that you just stopped doing it because it was too much too fast. And balance. Do things in a balanced way. Start out slow. You don't have to do something 7 days a week, but maybe you could do it for 4. You don't have to do it for 30 minutes a day. Do it for 10. Self-love. Do one thing that would put a smile on your inner child's face. It doesn't have to be every day, but it could be once a week. Go out of your way to do something nice for yourself. Your soul knows. The universe has so much in store for you. You are magnetic, and you're going to be attracting your tribe, and you will find friendship that's deeper than anything that you've experienced so far. A true friend that will absolutely replace this false friend. This person doesn't have the best intentions for you anymore. Unfortunately, you can't repair them. You can only work on you. It's not your job to drag them along your journey if they really don't want to come, because they will be resentful the entire trip. You're going to be embodying this crate energy, the sea crate. You're going to make new alliances with others who match you energetically. You're no longer an energetic match for this person who has turned into a false friend. Perhaps they were a false friend the entire time, but I feel like now it's really starting to show, and you can't continue to ignore it. If you're embodying the sea crate, then perhaps they're embodying the cobra. Maybe they do try to be intimidating towards you now. Maybe they are very vocal like the cobra. Cobras growl and rumble and hiss to try to intimidate someone who they feel threatened by. And maybe this person does feel threatened by your... right. Maybe this person does feel threatened by your success or your potential for success. They want you to stay where they are and where you were. That's not going to happen. You're building financial security and stability, a comfortable life. That is your goal right now. This vision of this sanctuary that you've built for yourself. What a beautiful, beautiful vision of a life. If that's truly what you desire, and I think it is, the universe is very supportive of that. Work consistently, find your balance, establish your boundaries, clear boundaries, and not just for others, but establish boundaries for yourself. Those are the most important boundaries that you're ever going to have. Don't just talk about it, be about it, right? If someone crosses a boundary, you need to have a plan of action. If somebody crosses a boundary, hey, I didn't like it when you did that, please don't do that again. And if they do it again, what is your response? That's your part of the boundary that you're setting. It's not just about what other people do. It's about what will you do if it happens again. You have to stand on whatever that boundary is that you made for yourself, or you're not being true to yourself. To thine own self be true, always. If this person is a false friend now, they're trying to tear you down. They're trying to be intimidating. If you're trying to do something different, they're full of nothing but naysaying. They're not your friend now. They may have been at one time, but that's not friend energy, right? It just isn't. Empaths understand why people do the things they do. Does that change anything just because you know why? You can't change her or him. So where does that leave you? If they're not willing to change themselves, where does that leave you in relationship to the boundary that you set for yourself? You have a beautiful life waiting for you. My goodness. And I'm really seeing fall, the third quarter. Implement the new body movement routine if you're not already. Choose something that you can be consistent with. Know when to put in the work and when to rest. You're going through a beautiful transformation with this death card. And when you go through transition periods, people will fall to the wayside. That's just what happens because your energy and your life and your goals change. With the Hierophant, you're really reflecting on traditions that were probably passed down to you from parents and grandparents. Perhaps you're questioning those beliefs and you're implementing your own traditions and beliefs into your daily routines. It's a beautiful transformation. Reflecting on the past is great. That's how we can contrast where we were and where we are now. That's how we judge our growth. Just don't forget when you're judging to remember that it takes time. You're really stepping into the justice energy, the balance. You don't live in a place where you have to get back at people who have treated you poorly, right? You don't live in that space. The act of holding a grudge against someone who has hurt you in the past, that person or that situation still has power over you in some way. That's why forgiveness is important. Not for the other person, but for you. And you are actively taking your power back from those situations and those people. And maybe that's one reason that you don't align with this friend anymore. Maybe there was a time where, that's what you did. You exchanged back and forth about playing who's the bigger victim, right? Maybe that was part of your energy with this person, and you're not doing that anymore. And they don't understand that. They're still trying to be in an energy of victimhood, and you no longer reside there. That's why you don't have anything in common with this person anymore. I really feel like that's for somebody out there. Maybe not everyone, but for someone. Someone needed to know that. Rest and relaxation is important because you are in preparation for this new phase of your life. In the energy of the Four of Swords, you're processing thoughts and emotions. You're still processing, right? Sometimes that's overwhelming. So with the Four of Swords, maybe you do feel overwhelmed sometimes. But that's natural when you're in a transition period. When you're leveling up, it's certainly conceivable to feel overwhelmed by the changes that are happening within. Change can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. If you know that Source or the universe has your back, which is true, the people that you're losing, maybe the jobs that you're losing, maybe the family member that you're losing, the home that you're losing, down the road, you will understand why those things had to go, if that's the case. Sometimes it's not even about you, it's about them. I think a lot of you out there are the catalyst that ignites the growth for someone else. A lot of times that means that people don't stay for a long time in our lives, or we don't stay in the lives of others for as long as we would like sometimes, because we were not meant to be there for a great deal of time. We were meant to do this one certain thing, and then we did, and then right. That's what needed to be done. That's what needed to be said in order to ignite growth in someone else. Maybe you are in a relationship where both of you are the catalyst, right? That makes for a big fire, but it can also cause tremendous growth. The old has to be cut off or cut away so that new growth can take place. You're growing, you're maturing. The secret energy, you're going to be in alliances with those who are for you, those who share your goals, share your vision, someone who you are aligned with energetically. You can work together in order to create the best versions of each other. When your energy is building, it becomes too much for someone who doesn't know how to handle that kind of energy, or they themselves don't have that kind of energy. They end up siphoning energy from you because they don't know how to generate that energy for themselves. You're going to be embodying this secret energy where you're attracting people and making alliances with other people of like mind. like goals. Maybe you're going to be living in a small community. All these people are in certain phases and stages of their lives that you can really connect with. Finding a true tribe that you feel comfortable in, being yourself, being this best version of yourself. Third quarter really has some beautiful energy waiting for you there. Be consistent and watch how your life changes. As always, I pray for your abundance in all good things and encourage you to take the next step of your journey with confidence and a renewed sense of hope. I like to leave you with the food for thought quote of the day. And today's quote is, "Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out." Robert Collier. Only up from here, and together we rise.